Okay, we are back and continuing on the never-ending cycle of the putts. Will we finish them this episode? I sure as hell hope so, because I really want to do the Grand Prix.
Well, we got through about 50 last episode, so we should be able to get through 25 and start with something else this one.
Surely that's achievable.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, let's give it a go. Alright, so I take it I'm in control.
Yeah, I don't want to have to swap the order the icons appear on the screen.
Yeah, so you can safely assume that Jovi will forever be the one starting.
I can change it if need be, but...
No, that's fine. I'm happy to always start.
Yeah. Do you remember our first experience with a fresh coconut?
Yeah, you can tell that story because it still stings.
Yeah, we went to a beach which had actual coconut trees on it, and they had like a bunch of coconuts on the ground, but we didn't want those because, you know, they'd already been decaying, partially rotted, all of that stuff, so we're like, oh, we'll knock some, nearly ripe ones out the tree. So we picked up the old coconut shells, spent like an hour just chucking them at the coconuts, trying to knock them loose.
Should also add, we were going on a walk with our family, and our parents were just like, all right, well, you guys are clearly emotionally invested in this, so we're going to keep walking and we'll come back when you're done. So they kind of left us at this coconut tree, and like you said, we started to knock them out.
Yeah, so we spent about an hour just manual labor throwing coconuts at coconuts. Eventually we knocked two loose, took them back to the camp where we then bashed them open with rocks and like husked them and stuff, which took about another hour and a half because my god, do coconuts not want to be eaten.
Yes.
And you finally crack that bad boy open and it's just fucking horrible.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because they were still raw or what, but they were absolutely foul. Yeah.
Coconuts, I think, are specifically, harvested at a very specific time, as well as when cultivating them for, market, you typically have very specific conditions for them.
Yeah.
Which you don't really get with wild trees.
No.
So I think we didn't harvest them at the right time, and these weren't intended for human consumption. So while completely edible, they were not pleasant. So yeah, that was a waste of like 3 hours.
Yeah, so maybe I've just got a vendetta against coconuts.
That's your trauma.
Yeah.
What I'm really excited to follow is actually the principal's arc, because
yeah. What's going on with Greta? I know.
Principal character was originally, I think we covered this briefly in a previous episode.
Yeah, but we'll quickly recap. She's a half orc. She all her life was kind of very heavily underestimated her intelligence because of her race, and kind of to spite all that, like pulled herself up by her bootstraps. Has become the principal of a school, and within like 5 minutes of the party meeting her, they just kind of like completely crushed her worldview.
I forget what we said, but it was something scathingly insulting about her school and the way she managed it.
Yes,
and it was a nat 20 on the roll for like demoralization or some shit.
Yeah, so it was, you were talking about, the premise for this campaign is that everyone's in this town is underneath a bubble and no one goes or leaves the bubble. And so you guys were along the lines of, Quick Groups 87, the east of Luke's house, built on the water.
Oh, cool. So we're on Pie Island now.
Okay. His house is at the south of the Pie Island. I'll just walk there. Okay. So you guys were saying, oh, what's the point of having an adventuring school if nobody can go on any adventures? Like, this is just a waste of everybody's time. Like, it was along those lines. And he just rolled really well, and it's just, like, crushed. And so she's kind of, like, rebuilding herself from the ground up at the moment.
Yeah.
And taking quite a lot of
She doesn't look like she's rebuilding. It looks like she's still spiraling.
Look, before you can rebuild, you must first destroy. And from the ashes, a phoenix will rise.
Every time we've gone to see her, she's been passed out at her desk with just bottles spilled around her.
From the ashes, a phoenix will rise. I believe in her. I think she can do it. Okay.
I am really interested to see her arc play out, though, and just how our relationship with her is going to go as we're killing now other students.
Yeah.
I don't feel like she's going to take too kindly to the death of Lainey and Stacy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. I've got some ideas. I'm kind of gonna like write it because I've got a few different directions I possibly want to take it. So I'm gonna write them out and then choose my favorite. But
Fair enough.
I'm quite excited.
Now, what I like with party deaths is where it's a consequence for bad player choice.
Bad player choice.
Because we had one at some point where they were playing as a centaur and they were deeply religious and they had adopted a bunch of children under their protection or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we went on a fishing trip and the weather got really bad, and it's like, oh, everybody tie a safety line just in case, waves come and sweep you off. It's like, oh, my faith in God will save me.
And his faith in God didn't save him.
Well, then a kid got swept overboard and without a safety line or anything just leaps into the water like, I'll save you, kid, and then they just both get swept off and drown.
Damn. But in your universe, was it like established that like did gods take an active role in that?
In this universe, no.
Okay.
The only gods that really actually have power are actually mortals that have just ascended to like godlike status.
Okay.
He was straight up Roman Catholic, and it's his god did not actually exist.
Okay. Yeah, in this year.
But he had a roll like, does my god save me? I don't know, roll a d20 and find out. 19, you die believing your god will save you. This game is taking way longer than I actually expected it to.
Yeah, I thought we'd power through it. I can't believe how bad we've gotten at this game.
It's a big game.
It is a pretty big game.
But yeah, we've also been really dawdling. We've been conversing too much. There's been moments where you've put the controller down and just looked at me.
That's because I'm really bad at talking and playing at the same time. Like, you can hear, when I'm talking to you now, I can actually formulate sentences. But the second I've got the controller, it takes me like 20 minutes to say what I'm trying to say. I really struggle. I'm not a multitasker at all. I can't game and drive, So not game and drive. I can't game and talk. It's really struggled. It seriously sounds, I feel like it sounds like I'm high
so that's
for a lot of them because I'm struggling to formulate a sentence and drive the car. Thanks so much for watching this part 2 of very disappointing not getting to do the Grand Prix episode. We will see you in the next time where I pinky promise we'll do the Grand Prix.
I'll find another way to disappoint you.
No, I've got my pinky out. You can't see it, but it's out there. It's ready. We're doing the Grand Prix. I start with the controller, so you don't have a choice. You've got a choice of either having to do the work to change the logos so that you can sabotage it, or just doing the Grand Prix, basically.
Yeah. Fair enough. Alright, well thanks guys for hanging out. You have yourselves a good one.
See ya!
Catch you.